Hey everyone, happy Halloween. I'm a sloth today. So we'll see if we can get this sloth energy moving just a little bit more vinyasa pace. We'll need a strap or something that you can use like a strap in your practice. And I'm going to suggest wall space. Wall space can be optional. You can try everything we're going to do in the center of the room, but it might be nice to have a different orientation. So for wall space, again, you can always just close a door and use the back side of a door. Or if it's like a hip height wall space, that would work too. It doesn't have to go all the way to the ceiling. Unless you want to take legs up the wall at the end of your practice, that might be something to consider. So grab your strap. You can use a belt, you can use a scarf, you can use a towel, and set it off to the side. Lay down. If you're using that wall space, set your feet against the baseboard and then lay on back and have that strap close by. And so what happens typically is if you're using that wall, when you lay down, feet won't be touching the wall. So soles of the feet, you'll need to get a little bit closer so both soles of the feet can touch the wall. I'll just take a few minutes here to place the hands on the belly and the rib cage. Maybe close the eyes and start to breathe a little bit deeper as you arrive into your practice. We've been practicing Viloma breathing. It's our 3-part inhale and 1 exhale. And I'll invite you to join me with that. A few rounds. We'll do about 3 to 4 rounds of Viloma breath before we start to move and flow. So emptying all the air out of the lungs. Begin to breathe into the low belly and pause. Breathe into the rib cage and heart and pause. Take one more sip of air in all the way up to the head. Full of air, exhale through the nose. One long, smooth, slow exhale through the nose. Again, breathe into the low belly. Breathe into the rib cage and the heart. Breathe in again all the way up to the top of the head. Pause there, full lung capacity. Exhale all the way out through the nose. Inhale, low belly. Inhale, rib cage and heart space. Inhale to the top of the head. Exhale through the nose. Let's do one more round of Viloma breathing here. Inhale, low belly. Inhale, rib cage and heart. Inhale up to the head. Exhale completely through the nose. And now just let your breath be neutral in and out through your nose. We're going to take the strap, loop up the ball mound of the right foot into the strap. Press that right foot up towards the ceiling. If you're using that baseboard, left foot stays at the baseboard or the wall space. So there's really a sense of grounding and stabilization through the left foot. And I just want you to pause here for a moment, walking the feet up the strap, walking the hands up the strap towards the foot, getting some sensation moving into the lower leg, the heel bone, the Achilles tendon, the calf. And then move both ends of your strap into your right hand. Extend your left arm up to the left and rotate your right leg out to the right side. And then again, if you're using the wall, keep pressing that left foot into the wall. Take one more deep breath here. And then come back through center. Both ends of the strap are going to pass into your left hand. And this is not going to be a twist, okay? Just a little bit of internal rotation. Your right thumb, hook it into your right hip crease and tell that hip to stay grounded as you turn your right toes towards your left shoulder. If you look at me, you can tell I'm really not, you really can't tell probably that I'm internally rotating my right foot that much. But that feels like a lot of sensation towards the outer edge of my right calf and a little bit up into my AT band. So just basically the outer border of my right leg is what I'm targeting. Let's come back through center one more time, walking the hands up the strap towards the foot, flex the toes towards the face, press the heel bone towards the ceiling, deep breath in. We're going to see if we can keep the leg as is and release the strap. So right leg still up towards the ceiling, but release the strap so your active range of motion slowly with control, lower the right leg towards the wall. And pause there. Breathing in, reach the arms overhead. And then breathing out, relax the arms. We'll move to the second side, looping up the ball mount of the left foot. Press that left foot up towards the ceiling. Stay rooted into your right foot. If you're using that baseboard, make sure the foot is in contact with the wall. That might mean you have to get a little bit closer. Walking the hands up the strap towards the foot. Even if you need to bend this left leg a lot or a little, that's totally fine. Meet yourself where you are today. Let's pass both ends of the strap into the left hand. Right arm's going to reach off to the right. This just helps counterbalance the weight as we take that left leg out to the left side. Okay, so you're just looking for a little sensation along the inner border of the left leg. Doesn't matter how wide you get the leg to rotate, does not matter. Let's come back through center. Both ends of the strap are going to pass into your right hand. Left thumb's going to hook into your left hip crease and tell that hip to stay put. Just a slight internal rotation of those toes towards the right shoulder. So probably doesn't look like much, but man, do I feel that sensation along the outer edge of the left leg. And for me, my left hamstring's pretty tight, so I feel it there too. And so this is just a reminder that typically, even though, yes, there's a target area in a shape, you're going to feel sensation probably where your tissue is tightest first. So that's just like a wide range of experience in your asana practice. You'll have a wide range of sensation and feeling, and it doesn't make it wrong. Come back through center. Walk both those hands up the strap one more time. Deep breath in. See if you can leave your foot as is, but release the strap. As you exhale, pause here, active range of motion, left foot still reaching for the ceiling, and then slowly lower that left leg to meet the right leg. We'll set that strap off to the side. We'll come back to the strap later. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. And then exhale, hugging the knees into the chest, bending both knees. Give yourself a little squeeze, rock a little bit side to side. And then you'll either turn off to a side fetal position or rock up to a seat. We'll find tabletop. Take a few rounds of cat and cow in your tabletop. Just check in with the spine today, see how that's feeling. In particular, notice any places that feel like there's more soreness or more tightness. Not uncommon for that to be the low back and the neck or around the shoulder girdle. One more time, cat and cow. Okay, so if you're going to use blocks in your practice or something that are block-like in height, set those at the top of your mat, just so you have them when you want them. And then let's tuck our toes under, lift our legs up into downward facing dog, and just start to pedal out in your down dog. Maybe take the feet a little bit wider on your mat, pressing the palms firmly into the mat, press the floor away, grip the mat with your fingertips, relax your head. I like to pulse my chest back towards my thighs to just get a little bit more movement into thoracic spine, which is your upper back.
And let's shift forward into high plank. Pause in your high plank. Press the floor away again. Anytime you're weight bearing, weight shift forward into the knuckle mounds of the hands. Grip the mat with your fingertips. So really active through the hands, strong through the shoulders and the arms. And then lower to your knees, lower to your belly. Walk the elbows forward, come into Sphinx. Elbows underneath the shoulders, forearms like the number 11, palms flat. Take a deep breath in, press down through the tops of the feet. Get really long through the neck, roll the shoulders down the back. Feel free to stay here or tuck the toes under and just lift the pelvis. So knees still on the mat, just lifting the pelvis. And so you're in a supported forearm plank here. Supported forearm plank, feel free to stay there or lift the knees up and come to forearm plank itself with the knees lifted. Take a big full breath wherever you are, in through the nose. If the knees lifted, exhale, lower the knees back down, come all the way back to the pelvis, return to Sphinx. Deep breath in and Sphinx, pull the heart forward. And then exhaling, walk the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes under, press up to high plank, and then back to downward facing dog. Pause in your downward facing dog. Get that good grip in the hands. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. So some repetition from last week. If you were with me, this might feel familiar. We'll look at this in a different way. Some of these shapes, we'll just turn them into a different direction. Inhale, right leg's going to lift up and back. If you have that wall space behind you, you could actively press the foot into the wall if it's there. On your exhale, shift forward, right knee to right tricep, pause. And then see if you can step the foot wide at the top of your mat, outside of your right hand. Pause for a moment in your wide low lunge, shift forward and backward. And then side to side. So get a sense of all 4 points of that right foot. Inner and outer edge of the heel bone, inner and outer edge of the forefoot. Now we're going to step forward into Malasana squat from here. Left foot steps forward and wide, toes turn out, and your Malasana squat might be more like your hips are in line with your knees or higher. So let your knees dictate how low you go. Now if you, or your hips rather, I'd say your hips and your knees are going to dictate this, will allow you to sink low in your Malasana squat. Hips can come down towards the heel bones. If you have blocks at the top of your mat, you could stack them underneath your sits bones and just take a seat here for a moment. But more importantly, I want you to pay attention to where the weight is resting in the feet. So can you get it evenly distributed throughout that whole foot? Press down through those heel bones. Let's see if we can stand up nice and tall at the top of our mat with our strong legs. Inhale, reach the arms overhead, breathe in. On our exhale, we're going to sit right back down into Malasana. So again, you get to choose how far you go into Malasana and let your body instead of your brain. I think the ego gets involved and the ego's like, oh, that shape should look better, quote unquote better. Let your body, specifically hips, knees, and ankles, drive the depth of that shape. Let's come into a forward fold. If you were seated on blocks, move those forward and out of the way. Bring your feet to parallel. Hang out here for a few breaths. Forward fold at the top of your mat. Relax your head. All right, let's plant those palms. We'll step back into high plank. Step back into high plank and pause. Get nice and long through the whole body. So crown of the head forward, heel bones back. Come down to the knees, come all the way down to the belly. Let's set up for Sphinx. Okay, so in Sphinx, elbows underneath the shoulders, forearms parallel, palms flat. Deep breath in. Let's add on. So tucking the toes, pressing into the knees to lift the pelvis first, supported forearm plank. Stay there or lift the knees up. We'll take one full breath here, wherever here is.
And then lowering back to the pelvis, find Sphinx. Make your inhale your back bend. Pull the heart forward and through. Draw your shoulders down the back, nice and long through the neck. Walking the hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes. Press up to high plank. Downward facing dog. Let's take 2 breaths in downward facing dog. Each time you revisit this shape or any weight-bearing posture in the hands, pay attention to the grip strength in the fingertips, the knuckles, the whole palm. Stay active. Inhale, left leg lifts. If that wall space is behind you, you can press the ball mound of that left foot into the wall. Notice how that changes your 3-legged down dog. And then exhale, shift forward, left knee to left tricep, pause. And then see if from there you can step that left foot wide outside of the left hand at the top of the mat. Settle into that wide-legged low lunge. Begin to shift the weight forward and backward. And then wobble a little bit side to side. Become aware of all 4 points of that left foot, inner outer edge of the heel bone and forefoot. Then we're going to step forward into Malasana again. Right foot steps forward wide, turning the toes out, heel bones turn in. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Again, listening to your knees, listening to your hips. How deep you go is going to be dictated by those joints. See if you can get that weight evenly distributed throughout the foot. Weight into the heel bone, pressing into those feet, strong legs, squeeze all those muscles to stand up. Inhale, arms reach overhead. And then exhaling, we'll sit right back down into Malasana. Forward fold. Bring the feet to parallel, relax the upper body over the legs, sway the weight side to side. All right, plant those palms, high plank. You know the drill. We're moving through our Vinyasa flow, this variation of our Vinyasa flow. We're shifting forward onto the toes in our high plank, setting the knees down, coming all the way to the belly. Setting up for Sphinx first. Set up those elbows, set up the forearms. Deep breath in, find that back bend in Sphinx. And so the arms stay as they are in Sphinx. We tuck the toes under, we press into the knees and lift the pelvis. So already firing up through the core, stay there or lift the knees. Full breath in. Full breath out, stay. And then lower the knees, come back to the belly. Inhale one more time through Sphinx. And then exhale, hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes. Press up high plank. Downward facing dog. 2 breaths. 2 breaths in your down dog. Now here, we're going to walk our hands back to meet our feet. Walk your hands back to meet your feet, back of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, fingertips to the shin bones, halfway lift. It's like low cobra in the upper back. From there, press into your feet and stand up. So you're standing up at the back of your mat. Now we're going to locate that strap again, the same one you used at the beginning of class. And we're going to practice Supta Padangusthasana, which is what we did on our back at the beginning of class, using the wall space if you have it. If you do not have wall space, what you can do is grab your chair or fingertips on the desk to find that counterbalance, because we're going to be using something solid to help us feel grounded and find that muscle memory in the body to do Supta Padangusthasana standing. Actually, it would just be Padangusthasana. Supta just means laying down on your back. So now we're standing upright, we can get rid of the Supta. Okay, so first we're going to start out, if we're facing the wall, we're going to face the wall. If we're using something for counterbalancing the weight, we're going to make sure that left hand can easily reach out and just fingertips lightly there. So orient yourself to your space, and then all the weight's going to shift into that left foot. You're going to pick up your right knee, just like you did on your back. Loop the ball mound of the right foot into the strap. Now this isn't a perfect science here, especially if you're using the wall, but it's like I'm kind of measuring the distance with my eyes. There's a better way to do this, but for the purposes of time, I'm just going to head right into it. We're going to see if we can kind of just measure the distance of our leg. So I'm just going to try to press my right foot forward into the wall. I'm still holding the ball mound of my foot into my strap, okay? So I'm not trying to get my hand to touch my foot. I'm using the strap to make my arm longer. Okay, so I'm just starting off with my hips squaring towards the wall. If you're using a chair, you're keeping your hips neutral, right? And then really press down through that standing foot. Inhale, grow tall through the top of the head. So find the length first. Now, left hand off to the left. Maybe those fingertips find something to stand on, like a desk or a chair. And then right foot moves off to the right. So I'm actually moving my foot away from the wall and just balancing on my left foot. Okay, notice what muscles have to fire to do that. If you fall out, just come back. Come back as soon as you can. And it's okay, if you get a cramp, take a break. Sway the legs out, wiggle the legs out, and come back when the cramp goes away. Bring that right foot back to the wall if you're still with me. Now we're going to change hands. So left hand is going to grab both ends of the strap. Really strongly press down into that left foot, which is on the floor, right foot if it's in the wall, and then rotate the chest towards the right hip. Maybe reach the right arm back behind you. So you really need to use your standing leg, that quadricep muscle, fire it, pull the muscle away from the knee. Now let's come back to center and release that right foot nice and slow. Set that strap off to the side, take those feet wide. Let's give those legs a little break. Whew, and the hips. Now, if you're getting cramps in the muscles around the hips, normal, especially if you're not doing Padangusthasana every day, totally normal. We just got to fire up those muscles on a regular basis. Cramping will eventually go away. But I would say don't white knuckle through the cramp unless it's something that you regularly do. Instead, take a break. Your muscles are getting fatigued, which is the goal of building muscle in the body to the point of fatigue. We do want to reach that state because that's how muscle grows, okay? So it's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. Let's shift the weight into the right foot. Okay, if you're gonna face the wall, continue to face the wall. And then we'll loop up the ball mound of the left foot. And then we'll see if we can extend that left foot forward. And if we have to kind of adjust our distance from the wall to get that foot at that right height, so my left hip is in line with my right hip. Okay, both hips are squared forward. And I'm standing at a good distance so I can really press down into my right foot, engage that quadricep, stand nice and tall through the top of my head, both ends of the strap in both hands, just like you did on your back. I'm kind of like walking my hands towards my foot. I'm not trying to get to my foot, I'm just trying to feel sensation in my leg. Okay, one big breath here. Now you can stay here working the strength and the balance, or left leg moves away from the wall and the right arm can reach off to the side. You can place your fingertips on something to counterbalance that, or you can just reach it off into space. Deep breath in. If you swept that left foot away from the wall, bring it back to the wall, make contact, and then we'll take the right hand, grab both ends of the strap. Right hand, both ends of the strap. Turning, but lifting up first. So press down into that right foot, lift up out of the crown of the head, and then turn towards your left hip. Maybe the left arm reaches back behind you. Sometimes it feels better for me when I'm in a twist to just worry less about what my limbs are doing, making more about the rotation through the torso. So I'll just place my hand on my low back. Really press down into that right foot, engage the quadricep of the right leg. And then unwind, come back through center. If you still have it in you, if you're still with me, and I know it can be hard, walk both hands towards the foot one more time. Deep breath in. And then we'll release that left foot. Nice and slow, take the feet wide, set your strap off to the side, and sway the body side to side. Hey, if a sloth can do this practice, so can you. We're almost done. Let's cool down. So we'll come back to the wall if you're using it. Same way we began our practice. Laying down on our backs, feet resting against the baseboard if you have that space available to you. And then begin to hug that right knee into the chest. Okay, if you're using the wall, when you rotate, because we're going to turn this into a twist now, let those left toes rotate with your hips. So my left hand's going to grab my outer right knee. I'm going to roll onto my left hip. See if you can keep your shoulders on the mat as you rotate through the hips. My left toes are going to move with my hips. So I'm still trying to press that foot into the wall. And all that really does is create a sense of grounding, but really nice elongation, the ability to create traction in the spine. So a nice long twist in the spine. Let's take 2 breaths here. We'll come out of our twist, come back through center, pull that right knee wide towards your right armpit, squeeze. Press the left foot into the wall. And then release the right leg long. If you've come away from the wall, scoot back to the wall, get a little closer. And then hug the left knee into the chest. Give it a little squeeze. If you're like, Tessa, I don't have wall space, it just isn't going to work. Guess what? We've done this a million times without a wall. It's okay. You do not have to have wall space. It's just an invitation to try a different orientation. Okay, let's turn this into a twist. Right hand wraps around the outer left knee. Rotate onto your right hip. Let the right toes turn with you. And then counterbalance that twist by extending the left arm off to the left. See if you can stay grounded through your shoulders. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. If you're using the wall, press the foot, that right foot into the wall. Feel the traction up through the spine. Let's take one more breath here. And then slowly unwind, come onto your back, hug that left knee towards the left armpit. One more squeeze. Extend the left foot into the wall. Come into a neutral space, into a Shavasana setup. If you're using the wall and you want to take legs up the wall, now would be the time to head in that direction. If you want to add any props, any layers of clothing, a blanket, we'll take about a 1-minute Shavasana. We'll head straight into 3 to 4 rounds of Viloma breath after Shavasana. Settling in, relax the shoulders, soften the jaw, let the eyes close. Neutral inhale and exhale through the nose. Give yourself permission to do nothing for the next minute. If you want to stay in Shavasana for Viloma breath, please do so. It's a great way to practice Viloma breath. If you'd like to sit upright, you can join me. Support your seat. Maybe keeping the eyes closed or a soft gaze. Emptying all the air out of the lungs. And again, Viloma breath, breathing in low belly. Breathing in rib cage and heart. Breathing in all the way to the top of the head. Exhale through the nose. Again, breathe in low belly. Breathe in rib cage, heart. Breathe in top of the head. Exhale through the nose. Breathe in belly, heart, head. Breathe out through the nose. One last time, Viloma breath on your own. Let go of that breath, allowing just a neutral passive inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. Joining the hands together at the heart and bowing the chin into the chest. Taking a moment to honor your practice with reverence and gratitude. May you remember that you will always be okay. Find a white light that guides you and keeps you safe. And have hope, help, and happiness along the way. Namaste, yogis. All right, everyone. Hope you enjoyed your practice. Take care of yourselves today. Don't eat too much candy and come back again soon.